Welcome to the Libri Labra Book Club discussion. Sorry for the delay. We had a few little technical difficulties, but it's okay. I think we're up and running. Tonight, we will be discussing Saga. And originally the plan was to only talk about Volume 1, but it didn't seem like enough to hold an hour-long discussion, so we decided to kind of do Volumes 2 and 3 as well. We will do our best to kind of go chronologically so that we don't spoil things immediately, just in case you've only read the first volume. And then once we're kind of done with the first volume, we'll drop a warning. But you should still be aware that the whole point is to talk about Saga Volumes 1 through 3 tonight, and that there are going to be spoilers throughout this video. So, Tom.
Yes.
You nominated this.
I did.
So tell us.
Where are you going with this? Yes.
Tell us, why, or what you'd heard about it, or.
You brought this into our lives. Please explain.
You did this to no. No, I've heard if you're around comics for any length of time, you hear about Saga, and you say, "Well, it sounds really interesting. I guess I should read it at some point." And they have the sale of Comixology, and I have to get whatever was there, as you well know. And I said, "Well, now I need an excuse to read it," and this seemed like a perfect excuse because remember the other two books I nominated were also graphic novels, Lock and Key, Volume 1, and The Walking Dead, Volume 1. I really hoped this was going to win, and it did. So
I was curious about it.
I also read Lock and Key. So if I was just to compare just, Volume 1 of each one, I think I like Saga more. So I don't know where to begin.
Well, the setup is there are two. Well, there's a moon and there's a planet. The planet's called Landfall, and that's home to the people, and I can't remember their names, Landfallians, and who are constantly at war with the people from their moon, which is called Reeth, and the people on Reeth have horns. People on Landfall use technology to their ends, whereas people on Reeth use magic. And they found that if they were going to attack each other, if they destroyed one world, the other one would go with it. So what they started doing is any planet they discover, they export the war to that planet. So they fight proxy wars all over the galaxy, and they also conscript the local people into whichever side gets there first. So.
So we actually have Jeff in the chat watching, and he just said that all three were fantastic. So Lock and Key, Saga, and The Walking Dead. He's read them all. So.
We'll have to look at The Walking Key then.
Yeah. And at any rate, there's a Reeth prisoner called Marco, and he's in a detention center on a faraway planet called Cleve, and he's being guarded by one Alana. Things happen, they fall in love, and they escape together. Their story, what happens after they escape. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Saga is the story of the little one.
True. Which is, her name is Hazel.
Yes.
And she is the focus of the very first chapter, as that it's the book. Saga literally starts with her being her birth.
So it's basically narrated through her. Right?
Yeah, she's the narrator of the story.
So
yes,
yeah. I do
that's
like
one thing that's hard for me to figure out. It's like, oh, this is the same person. Like whenever they have these printed sections on the comic books, like, oh yeah, that's her narrating. So and I think, but I think it was notable. I think the very first line in the comic is, "Am I shitting?"
Yeah.
This is
about that.
So yes, while it does deal with serious topics, it itself has its moments of humor.
Yeah, no, it does. I had because I had started reading it, and I was, I leave my commentary on Goodreads as I'm reading stuff, and I was like, oh, is that how we want to start this? With that? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do this like this, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's the very first.
So I really like Alana's character. I think at first I didn't think I was going to. But I do. I think she's tough, but soft on the inside. And she cares a lot about her daughter, and she's very in love with Marco. And I think she's a pretty cool character.
Oh, both of them are, Marco and her. I mean, that's. I can't say why until we get to the second part.
Right.
But,
there's something more to both their stories, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but well, let's see. Excuse me. Volume 1 introduces a lot of the main characters for the first part of the book. Prince. I think it's Prince Robot the Fourth.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, usually the first chapter or two is a good info dump where you get a good start on what the series is about.
I don't think I fully understood what the hell the Robot Prince has to do with anything, but Jeff is asking, did they ever explain what the two races were fighting over?
I don't think they remember at this point. It's just
right. It's just been like so long.
We hate you. It's like the Capulets and the Montagues and Romeo and Juliet.
That's what I compared it to.
We hate you because you hate us. It's like, well, we hate you because you hate us. Yeah.
What's the Hatfields and the
McCoys? Yeah. It's a feud. Yeah.
A feud that's gone on for so many generations that it shouldn't matter anymore. What just happened?
Just hit it.
Continue. Carry on. There's a having just read 1984, where constant war is a theme there too, except there it was used to keep the people down in the sense that war would use up all the extra resources that the economy would produce, whereas here the citizens of both Reef and Landfall are insulated from like the casualties and such for the most part of the battles now. So, which I thought was interesting. So they can just keep on going more, keep on fighting. Why? I don't know. Because I'm sure. Go ahead.
As a perpetual war is, that means you can actually go on the assumption that every single person is constricted into this war, depending on what's going on in the situation. I'm guessing that whatever their main planets or planetoids they live on, their home base is that basically just an offspring producing place, and they just draft them from there. Is that how that goes?
I don't know if they have the draft, but it sounds like they have enough in an armed force to, carry on this war on other planets, and then when they get to the planets, they can script the local races. Hey, you're fighting for us now, or we kill you, sort of a thing.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that seems the way it goes.
I'm fascinated by the fact that Alana and Marco kind of developed their relationship over a romance novel.
Over a book.
Yes. That's for later in the book.
The whole inspiration by the story, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was like initially just a joke. Like I thought, no, because she was like, oh, they show her face when she finishes reading it.
Right.
And I really thought she was going to use the book to distract the other chick that was, because they were like on watch or something. Yeah. So I really thought it was just a ploy and a distraction. I didn't think she was actually into the book until like much later.
Oh no, apparently she did that to everybody. You should read this book.
She was like, read it.
You should read this book.
Read it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And remember they get found in this garage where the attendant paid off both sides apparently, and both sides appear and they kill each other, and they, despite being in the crossfire, survive. Alana, that is. So they have to escape into the sewers. you recall.
I don't remember the series.
Yeah. It's like they were talking, because remember that's where they showed the map. It's like, he, little bugger betrayed us, and all he gave us this map. They probably ripped it out of a library book. Here you go. So, but yeah, very interesting. I thought that like when they introduced the horrors into the book, and what they actually turn out to be.
Right.
Very interesting. Which
I do like that aspect of it.
She's been a pretty cool character too, I think.
What?
I said she has been a pretty cool character too.
Isabel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I trust no one though. Like I'm still like just kind of on edge. Like, what does she want? Why does she want to be tied to the baby? What does that mean?
She just wanted off the rock.
Yeah. Is there going to be a big betrayal at some point? Maybe, but you don't know. Don't know. But I liked it. I forget what the context was, but like it was Alana that she was with, and and I forget. Alana was talking about Isabel, like she was like just this ghost, and it's like, well, actually, my name's Isabel.
Right.
Oh, yeah, And the thing to remember about Isabel is that apparently they manifest as what they were when they died, and she apparently stepped on a landmine, so she has no legs, and that's where her body ends.
Her intestines are all hanging out.
Yeah.
Oh, what she reminds me
very,
of.
very inventive.
I do like, yeah.
So,
have you played Borderlands 2?
I have.
She kind of reminds me of like a dulled down version of Tiny Tina.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting character.
Yeah. And very likable. I thought anyway, to me. He's like, all I want to do is, bond with your baby so I can get off this rock, like John said.
I like how they turned her, they called her a babysitter.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she was.
So there's two meanings to that.
And when she was alive, and she was like, what, the first like 7 kids, so she knew more about like birthing the baby than Alana did, because Alana obviously is just brand new to this. So I thought it was very well done. And of course, both sides send, Landfall sends the Prince Robot 4 to exterminate the couple, and
so wait, is he also a freelancer?
No, he's more of a high rank in the military.
There's apparently a coalition. There's a coalition on Landfall, apparently, of which the Robot Kingdom is part. And the king sends Prince Robot the 4th out to do this mission so that they can look good in front of the other Landfall peoples.
Okay.
So they can pull their weights, so to say. And remember, Wreath, the woman with the horn, the single unicorn horn, she hires the Will and the Lion Cat to go after them, in addition to the Stalk.
Right.
So who's the other agent, and who is he pulling? Oh, the new one, Brand?
Oh, that's later. That's much later.
Way to jump like 2 volumes later, John.
I forgot about the unicorn head lady. She was weird.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through everything that happened in the first part so we don't skip ahead. But a lot of things happen.
A lot does happen.
Jeff says he loves the Lion Cat. Me too. I think I want a Lion Cat pop.
Lion Cat, yes. What was I going to say?
It's true.
So the Stalk encounters them, remember? And but she sees the eyes all in the forest, and you haven't seen what the horrors can do. And so she goes off, which saves them at that point. But not before she somehow injects Marco, hits him with her tongue, her barbed tongue somehow, which mortally wounds him. So now it's a question of, okay, how do we get Marco, save Marco? And again, it relies on Isabel to say, hey, I know you can get Snow, because Snow is the component part of the spell. But again, there's everybody has their own plan. But how should you put it? It's hard. It's easy to get help, good help, but it's hard to get it cheap.
So is Isabel like the mentor?
Kind of, yeah. At least in the parenting stuff, and she's been around apparently a long time because she apparently knows stuff that it's like, oh, I'm not sure how you know that, but good. It's good that you do. So,
who did the rocket ship belong to?
which one?
The wooden one.
That was the stocks. Oh wait, no, the one that he get into the rocket ship forest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That they just found.
He just found it. Wasn't like
it's a tree, yeah. Because remember, they said that Isabel said they used illusions so that outsiders wouldn't come to the forest anymore, and they still had a few saplings left, and that was one of them.
So there were multiple of them, and they belonged to was Isabel the original inhabitants of the whatever?
Yeah, she was a native of Cleve, and she died on Cleve, so that's why she's bound to the planet. But despite the forests being largely razed, there are some left, and they managed to get on one. But it's getting ahead of the bargain that Isabel and Alana eventually strike. That she does allow Isabel to bond with Hazel. So
Jeff is saying the guy who sold them out. I don't know if he was referring to the
mechanic.
The mechanic?
Yeah, the mechanic.
It's called him the Rat King. He was a mechanic.
I don't know who you're talking about.
At the beginning.
Where they got the map from?
Oh, I thought he was a monkey.
Was he? If he was a monkey, he was. He
ended up in the sewers.
What?
He was the Rat King monkey?
Sure. I don't know.
So they finally get on the spaceship.
Right.
And I guess that's where they... No,
there's something else that happens before that, though.
Well, yeah, they have to get the snow.
Yeah. And remember, Prince Robot comes and encounters the stock. I think that's in the first part. Yeah, it's still right.
Yeah.
And it looks like it sounds like she's reaching for ID, but they interpret it she's reaching for a weapon, and Prince Robot basically blows her away. And then the Will gets on the phone and say, "I'm going to kill everything you love,"
Right.
Standard movie fare, yeah.
Although he was upset at her anyway.
Oh, yeah, but still.
No, there was bad blood, but apparently they loved each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on in this book.
That's assuming she had feelings.
At all.
She was kind of like, come on.
Yeah. But also the same token, remember when Marco was in his the haze of his illness, he says, "Give my love to my bride Gwendolyn." Say, who the fuck is Gwendolyn?
Yep.
He's like, oh shit.
She was like, you didn't tell me about no Gwendolyn.
I really love how everything plays out though. It's like it's timed on cue. You're all like, what the hell? And then wait a minute. What the hell? Oh, wait a minute. Right. What's going on here? And there are certain things that tie in. All right, I see it.
So Jeff's on a little bit of a delay, but he said, didn't he buy that with the money he got from selling them out?
Yes, the map. Yes,
the map?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then, God, well, now the Will knows that since he knows that the stock is on the case, he said, well, screw this, I'm just going to go to Sextillion, which is a whole other.
Yes, that's a whole other
deal. So I saw Desirai wrote about that.
What did I?
on Goodreads as a status update. When you found out that the slave girl was 6.
Oh, like, okay, yeah. No, that totally freaked me out. And what's funny is that I had seen another booktuber, her name was Rachel Ray, and she said that she had started reading Saga. And she said she didn't get into it, though. She was kind of like, yeah, it's not for me.
Okay.
And so this whole time, I've been like, wow, I've heard so many good things about Saga. I wonder what about it was just not for her. And so when I got to that point, I was like, holy shit, is this it? Because I don't think I want to keep going. But yeah, that definitely freaked me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I guess I'm glad where that has gone so far.
Yeah, like I said, well, Hazel mentions that there are monsters, but some are more monstery than others, essentially. You know, after what is it? The whale basically kills the groomer, the pimp, and tries to go off-world, and then Mama's son stops him because of their security elixir.
So one of the things that I've noticed, which I'm not sure I understand, it's like a lot of the times when they show the robot, or maybe it's just one robot, the Prince whoever robot.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there always porn on his face? Like, I don't understand what triggers that. Like,
yeah, well, it's not always porn, but a good part of it is. But
well, usually when there's anything displayed on his face.
No. There's a lot. There's a couple of different logos, but when he's getting incoming transmissions, I think there's really only three spots where he sees.
It felt like a lot more than that to me. I mean, it's possible maybe
there may be a reason
faces.
later in the reading, so we could leave it until then. But the first one, remember, is when we first see him, he is actually making love to his princess, I guess. And then it's obvious his mind goes to the combat because it shows the bloody horn on the screen. And then his clip says, "Oh, sorry, yeah, I can't do this." So, remember that?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. So it's like, well, that was a downer. So, and that was just before Special Agent Gage comes to give him his mission to go to Cleve.
Right. So they want to start the ship, and apparently it requires a sacrifice.
Yes. And Marco does what?
He breaks his family sword.
Yes.
It's just like, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Hmm?
I do think it's interesting because he was a soldier, wasn't he? Like, he seems
Yes, he
so not a soldier.
He is more of a pacifist now than anything, yeah. And that trend seems to go throughout the book.
Right.
Especially in the third part, which we'll get to, but
for me, it makes it difficult to believe that he was a soldier.
Like his
personality. Yeah, his personality doesn't come off like soldier at all. Like,
yeah, but he could have been seen so much. It's like, yeah, man, this is bullshit. What are we really doing here? And of course, because he breaks the sword, that causes the event which ends part 1 or volume 1.
Jeff says he surrendered under the pretext of being a conscientious objector.
Objector, yeah. He really is a pacifist now. Because remember, there's people. Was it Alana said something like? She said something along. It's like, for being a pacifist, you say a lot of stuff that people want to stab you. It's like, okay.
So right before the volume ends,
yes,
that breaking of the sword.
Yes, and that causes what?
Yeah, that triggers his parents to appear.
Yes, and that's what ends volume 1. I thought, oh my god, that's great. So he's like, how could you possibly think, okay, this is the way it's going to end. Part 1. Or volume 1, I mean. So.
Okay, so FYI, if you have not read more than volume 1, go read them, and then come back another time and finish this video.
Yes, volume 1, remember, is chapters 1 through 6.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have the hardcover book, like I know Desirai has, that has all 18 chapters we're discussing, but we only finished the first 6. In terms of synopsis way. I hope we get to the characters once we are all done with the other 2 parts.
So, I mean, yeah, I guess it's just them and his parents on the ship now. His mom's pretty pissed.
Hmm? Yeah, both of them are pretty pissed. And remember, what is it? Claire, I think her name is his mother.
Is it
Clara?
Clara.
Clara.
Is it KLR?
KLARA.
Okay, Clara.
Oh, by the way, did anybody try to translate the Esperanto?
No.
Mm-mm.
Translate it how? Does
I put it to Google.
translate
It's like, oh, you know.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you can. I'll just say that.
Huh.
So you can tell what they say when father and son back
Is
and forth
it like
in one spot.
because I what is it? But what language?
Esperanto.
Oh.
It's a constructed language. It's based. I thought you would have like, oh, I didn't need to because I know Spanish.
Well,
because it is based a lot on Spanish.
Okay, I was gonna say some of it sounded familiar. I was like, is this like Portuguese?
It's close, but it's not quite.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, because some of it I understood. I was like, but I didn't type it in.
But that is an actual language. Yes.
I understood 0. I had to go by context.
Yeah.
Like, they're saying something loving.
Well, you know what? I just kind of felt like
He's
they're not
teaching
including
them something
subtitles here, so there has to be a way to. I felt like there had to be a way to know what they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think the only scene that really matters, and I forget if it's in volume 2 or volume 3, is I think it's in volume 2 when they do the flashback to Marco's childhood and he apparently falls off his bike, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
And you tell, even though you can't understand, you can tell it's like you have to get back on, and you know. So yeah, I did do some of the translation. It's pretty good. So what did you think of their initial meeting? It's like the grandparents.
Oh, they came in guns blazing, man.
Yeah, they knock off Isabel like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know that because that's in the first volume. And then,
is it? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
right at the very end.
yeah. Because I'm thinking like Jesus Christ, this is like Game of Thrones. You start to like somebody and then boom, you get blown away. So yeah. You don't find out that Elizabeth is alive until the second volume.
Like the armor masks, those are interesting.
Hey,
yes.
There's another Desirai in the chat. Hi, Desirai.
Very good. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, what do they call them? The crash helmets or something like that?
Was it
the crab shell?
Crash.
No, the crash helmets.
Oh yeah. Crash helmets.
And he's like, yeah, because that's when Clara and Marco already are on that planet.
Yeah, that's how
for Isabel. And he says, oh, how could you even afford one, let alone two? So, well, we sold the house.
Right. And he's like, oh, why would you?
He's like, wow.
But this is also directly after they learned that he had just had a baby with the enemy. So it was kind of like, yeah, you have no room to talk right now. Mm-hmm. We sold the house. You did what? Mm-hmm. They kind of have that back and forth. I kind of thought it was cool.
Yes. So since we got another viewer, I'm going to throw out that warning again. The chat was supposed to be for the first volume of Saga, but we have jumped into the second volume because we figured it would just give us a little bit more to talk about. It is, it's the second volume. Yeah.
Yes, so. Chapters 7 through 12.
Yeah, chapters 7 through 12. So if you haven't read it, Desirai, I don't want to keep you out, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. So hopefully you've already read it and you can stick around.
Actually, I've read the whole thing now. Why in volume 8? No, I'm kidding.
I'm looking for, I was expecting there to be more when I ended it, so I'll probably jump into the next one. And I'm assuming there's no deluxe version 3 at this point.
They usually, no, because there's only 8 volumes. They do every 3 for the books.
She said it's cool. She's still going to read it. So
you really should. You have to see it and experience it, because even apart from just the plot, the illustrations are really, really good.
Yeah.
I thought one of the most fascinating interactions was with Bar and Alana when they're like alone in the ship.
They're alone, yeah.
Yeah, that was great. No, it went from like humor because like I'm so glad I got to do all this in a towel.
Right.
To they like real talk. Bar says, "I just want to see her," and she wraps him up in the vines, and she says, "Oh, I know you need to have a secret to get out. So who's to say I don't have my own secrets?"
Right.
Boom. So.
Yeah, I thought there was a twist in there too, like a different twist. I was like, how did he? That can't be a real secret.
Right.
I really don't trust anybody while I'm reading this. I feel like everybody's trying to.
Well, everybody has their own ends, and it's just like it's interesting how the different groups play off each other here. Because you have, Prince Robot is essentially alone, if I recall. Then there's the bounty hunters. This, what do they call them?
The Stalk and the Will.
Yeah, the Stock and the Well. They have a particular name for them. I can't remember.
I'm curious what the rhyme or reason is to the way they've named the freelancers.
I think that's it.
Freelancers.
Yeah. So that they have specific this, that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what does the Stalk have to do with her being like all spiderish?
Are you sure that's how?
That's just what she is. Yeah.
A description of the reason why she's named the Stalk.
I would have liked one.
Maybe you'll get one later.
What?
Free Billy.
But
What, do I know who Billy is?
Yeah.
William Billy?
Again, that's volume 3, by the way.
What is?
Billy.
Oh.
She'll get to eventually.
So I really liked Bar.
It's funny because both parents were all like, "You gotta worry about what the other one thinks."
Mm-hmm.
What the other one thinks?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
When Mom was talking to Marco, she was like, "You better worry about what your dad thinks." And then when Dad was talking to Alana, Dad was like, "You gotta worry about her. My wife probably won't be happy about this."
Right.
So I thought that was kind of funny.
What was the one thing he said that when was it you get your first grandchild, that's the first signal your warranties run out?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, it's pretty heavy. That's pretty intense. So yeah, they intersperse the humor and the really intense parts of this book really, really well, I thought. And of course, Bar puts Alana to sleep so that he can make those suits that he was making when she wakes up, like for Alana. And I thought it was interesting because it's like, yes, they're protective against ray guns and gunpowder, but not bladed weapons. So it's like, yeah, against our weapons, yeah, no use, but against theirs, yeah, totally fine.
Yeah, it's not get sliced.
Well, of course, that's what it would be. So. And then they had, how Marco wanted to be the pacifist and didn't want Clara to slay that giant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to talk to him. I was like, all right. So.
I could have lived without seeing the giant's testicles.
It was interesting how they made a complete deal over it. Don't look, Mom.
Yeah.
Don't look. You don't need to see that.
You don't want to see this. It's like, I've seen worse. Yeah, they actually get the information they want and a bit more besides. They find out the planet's actually an egg. About to hatch.
The whole thing got completely ridiculous.
Yeah, but okay, so the planet was an egg that was about to hatch, and then it does.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes what, like a black hole?
No, it was a time sucker, which essentially is a sentient black hole. For all intents and purposes, yes. So that's about where the will, remember, the slave girl turns out to be this, I don't know, she hears the Gwendolyn's necklace being sad and wonders where its friend, its compatriot says, oh, I feel a disturbance in the force. And,
She's like, it's over
she
there.
senses, yeah. And they say, well, I don't see anything because, they don't have their, it's a wooden ship, so it escapes their detection systems. But I think it was like Gwendolyn fires that missile at them.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alana says, yeah, you need to.
Yeah, because the mom was like, get out of the way. And Alana was like, no, you need to charge straight at it. And she was like, what, are you trying to kill us all? Like,
yeah. And she said, no, it needs time to arm. And if you can get close enough before it arms, you can deflect it. And that's what happens. And it deflects right to the time sucker.
Pisses it off. Yeah.
It gets pissed off and then attacks the Will ship. And again, second time, I thought, oh no, we're going to lose some characters here.
Yeah. I almost cried.
Yep.
I was like, no, lion cat, no.
I knew it was the lion cat. Everybody else, yeah, you can die. Lion cat.
I don't care. Not that one.
Lion cat's bad.
Do anything.
Wow. But yeah, very, very interesting so far. I think we're about what?
Yeah, that's where that ended, isn't it? The volume 2 ended?
Volume 2? No.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so. Wait.
I thought it was with Lion Cat floating. What?
It could be. Let me see. Let's see. No. Volume 2 is where also Prince Robot actually gets to quiet us.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Yeah. I know where that ends now. Okay. So the robot finds the book that she had been reading by the author. What's his name?
Heist. Yeah.
And Alana and them had said that that's where they wanted to go. They wanted to go to Quietus to find Heist.
Yes. And that's where they... But the way they tell it is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because the robot shows up and he starts grilling the author.
Yes, So...
I think it's most interesting in regards to the state that the author was in, because when he shows up, the author's in his home, he's cleaned up, he is, acting like an author. But when he's found otherwise, it looks like he's in a drunken stupor.
Like we don't know that until later.
Right.
We don't know that until volume 3.
Yeah, there's twists in here.
Yeah, because remember the way they say it, it's like, at the end of the second part, well, this is after, remember, they try to get away from the time sucker, and they can't, and then Marco sacrifices the crash helmets.
Which is funny, because his mom is like, it's okay, I don't need to make it, you and your family go. And then he sacrifices the helmets. And she's like, are you crazy?
So these are just things, yeah. So, and then, but the ship is in danger of breaking apart, and Barr saves them by expending the last of his energy, holding it together. And he soon after collapses and dies. And so, yeah, very, very moving stuff. It's like, I think, it's a comic book, but it's really, really, really well done.
I'm seeing that everything plays out specifically and perfectly, like well orchestrated to a specific T.
But isn't that every story kind of?
Not in this fact. Maybe it's just the way it's written into it like that. I don't know. It's because it's a graphic novel. It's just I think it maybe has a different. I can find what I'm looking for. But yeah, I get it. You said every story kind of does. Oh, that's perfect timing.
it was written like that.
Right. Well, I mean, like I'm saying, like it's not haphazardly written. There's a specific timeline and everything falls into specific places.
Yes. Even though it's non-linear sometimes.
Right.
Yes. Like at the end of
I didn't portray what I was trying to. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
Has your opinion of it changed at all while we've been
Earlier, I
discussing
was like, what's all the hype about? Everybody says this is an amazing book. I thought that because I was still getting into it and getting involved, that I didn't know everything, all the awesomeness about it. That I was worried that I missed something, but no. As always, after talking to Tom, I have a little bit more appreciation for things because I don't know, he lays things out, he outlines things very well. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
But yeah,
going back to Prince Robot and his interrogation of Heist, he basically says, "Well, I think I'll just sit here and wait until the, Marco and Alana arrive," and then the very last page of that chapter says, "Actually, we've been there a week already." And they show them cowering upstairs. I was like, "That's brilliant." And then the first part of the next part is part 3 is showing what they did during that week.
Yeah.
So which is really, really cool. So.
It was sad losing Bar.
Sad losing Bar, yeah, that was like I said, the scene between Alana and Bar was one of my favorites, like when they were getting to know each other.
It happens so fast.
Well, it is. It's a comic book. You don't have that much space to,
It's a graphic novel.
Well, that's the other thing I was saying. I was kind of like, because John was just like, I don't get the hype. And I was like, well, you also have to consider that, like, it was broken up, so people had to wait for the other pieces. And it kind of ended on cliffhangers for each.
We didn't get the suspension from what is it? Every month, every week? How often they put them out?
I would assume every month, but I don't know that for sure.
I see. So from now on, every chapter they're like, I'm going to stop and I'll come back
just
to it.
Think about it.
Like, okay, let's reflect on that.
Well, yeah, because we read it in like 2 days. We read 18 chapters in 2 days.
I blew through it.
It does bear rereading. I'll just say that because I reread the first part and I picked up stuff I didn't. So
there are little subtle things in some of the pictures.
Yes.
So yeah, pay attention to every little, all the way through.
And
no, I'm just trying to remember. Okay, yeah. So Hazel, the 3rd volume. Moving into the 3rd volume.
Well, do you remember the first one of the I think it's the first panel, in volume 3. I don't know if you can see it on my. No, you can't. Dang it.
No.
Wait, maybe you can. This shows the Landfall and Veteran Center, and they have the homeless guy right out front.
Wait.
You see that on my thing? No. I'm
guessing not. I see it. Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's pretty telling right there.
I don't know which beginning of the chapter it was, but there was one where they had Alana and Marco posed.
Yes.
As like a romance
on the book
novel.
Cover, yes.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was really funny.
So right when you saw the cover, like way back in part 1, it's like, of course, that's where she got the idea from. And it looks like one of these Harlequin romances, but apparently it's a bit deeper, according to Alana. So it's just like how 2 different people can get together and make life together. And it's like, what's so strange about that?
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of the point, and that's where they have the extended discussion in this part with the author. Remember, he says, well, What, you thought I wrote that so you could just, get together and do nothing? It's like, no. No, that's not what I was after, but yeah.
So Jeff says, I agree there's a lot of things you miss on the first read through.
Yes. Yeah, just the setup is important to know. It's like, okay, these are the Wraithers, these are the one with the wings, and I'm sorry, these are the one with the horns, and Lion Follians are the one with the wings, and yeah.
So
This is what?
Yeah, you're talking about the image. So the homeless guy.
Yeah, in front of the that's the medical VA, their VA, their Veterans
Oh,
Administration's
okay.
medical center. It's like, wow. So that's
I
brilliant.
didn't pick up on that.
So that's where that's where they introduced the paparazzi, the tabloid reporters.
How did you pronounce that? I tried twice. I stopped. The name of the tabloid.
Oh. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember. But yeah, and they're also bound for quietus now, the Alana and Marco and crew. So and they eventually find him. It's funny because showing the way Prince Robot meets Heist as opposed to the way they actually meet Heist. It's like, authors don't make the best first impressions.
Right.
He does, like, his rope's hanging open. He's got the bottle in his hand.
He's just wandering around.
Yeah. So, I thought the bone bugs were cool though. They're like, that they have them bite Clara's ear. They, formed into that monster.
She pretty much.
Alana.
She lost her ear.
Yeah, but also Alana fought off the giant construct, I guess, and Marco finished it off. So, and I think Alana was still holding Hazel at the time.
Yeah.
So that's pretty badass.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of The Walking Dead in the sense where, or more so the show than the comic, I guess. But they're just living through this zombie apocalypse while trying to hold on to a baby.
Mm-hmm. And I forget how they introduced the character into the book. I think it's toward the end of part 2. Gwendolyn actually makes her appearance in the book. And she eventually...
More about their story. Because apparently she's the wreathed version of the robot to...
Yeah, Prince Robot, yeah.
Yeah. They're higher up in their military sent down to deal with this problem.
But now, why did he say that they originally, drifted apart? I thought it was because he was fighting in the war and she didn't seem to care.
I thought it was the other way around. She was fighting in the war and he was like, I don't want a part of it. She was the one that took off and wanted to do more with the war.
I understood it to be that she was at home and she was like, all the national, yeah, go fight the good fight. And he's in the trenches. Like, well, this isn't a good fight.
This is fun. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
It's like, you don't understand. You're not here,
Right.
So they can report, according to him.
So is she playing some tricksy role to him to begin with?
No, I think she just wasn't in it.
And then she becomes the head of the freaking...
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand.
That's a big jump from yeah, go do it, honey, to now I run shit here.
Hmm? Well, she was a minister's daughter, so that's not... Yeah. Yeah, she was connected. Her family's connected. It's not just she's just off the street, some random girl.
I see.
So, but Will and Gwendolyn and the slave girl and Lion Cat, I'll make it to that planet where if you eat the fruit or anything from there, it's like they have hallucinations. I said, "Wow, how Star Trek is this?"
Right.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, why is he seeing the stop? And then they were like, where's Slave Girl? And I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, but they freak you out too because they show, what was it? Was it where the stock comes back? Yeah, actually, my partner just came back from sick leave, and he says, blowing people away and such. And then it turns out that was just a dream.
Yeah.
Like, wow, way to play with our heads there, dude.
Yeah, for real.
So.
I don't know how I feel about like Gwendolyn and the will. I don't know. I feel like that happens too fast.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think that needed to happen.
Yeah, but the hallucination said, "Oh yeah, you should kiss her. You should totally kiss her." So he does. She belts him one. Is that how Dave's like? You don't kiss me without my permission. And then as she walks away, the hallucination says, "Without permission." Great. So. Yeah, very interesting.
This, after you realize that Slave Girl had also eaten.
Yes. That proved to be his undoing.
Yeah, that was intense. I was like, yes. No.
Yeah, now I want you to stand on him. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Oh.
That was evil. I was like, no, Slave Girl. Mm-hmm. At that point, they had already named her, right?
Yes.
They named her Sophie.
Wow. It was around that time. Yes, she decides to name him he decides to name the kid Sophie. Wow. Apparently, spoiler alert, after his sister. Who eventually comes to see him at the...
I didn't catch that. Yeah, I was like, what? Oh.
At the Lanfalian Hospital, yeah. Like right toward the end of this part. He says to Sophie, and it's like, I'm here, yeah. And it's like, okay.
So Marco wasn't
asking for.
Because Gwendolyn was like telling Marco that he had to save him. Mm-hmm. He had to save the will, but he said he couldn't because he wasn't with them.
Right.
Well, the scene in the lighthouse is like, if you ever watch a Quentin Tarantino movie, he has one of these kinds of scenes in every one of his movies where you're just waiting that the clock is ticking down. It's like, when is shit going to start to go sideways? And we had that in this part of the book when what was it? Prince Robot. I think it's Prince Robot goes to heist again. You see, chapter 10. Yeah, this is all their time on the planet here. Sorry about the wait. Trying to find the. Yeah, this is their dream sequence. But what was it? This Prince Robot fires at Heist and wounds him in the leg. Mm-hmm. So he's down. And then I guess Gwendolyn and Lion Cat hear. It's like something's going on over there. They come to the lighthouse, and then
this is awful.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
And then I think Heist shoots Prince Robot, so he's out of commission for a bit. And they get to the lighthouse, and Gwendolyn's holding the lance out, but she's holding it in such a way that it activates and it pierces Heist right in the eye, and a direct hit and takes him out. Which of course pisses off Clara, and then that's when Lion Cat gets on the cliff. Yeah.
Yeah. Lion Cat gets punched in the eye. I felt bad for him. And then they just guilted him to leave.
Oh no, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like, wow, psychological
Yeah,
combat here. Holy crap!
info there that we don't have. That'll come later.
You are the runt of the litter.
Oh, that's right. She just went into his its darkest
Illusion
fears.
phase, yeah.
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 So that's what the hollows do. They make you see whatever they want you to see. Oh, that was dirty.
Right. Or whatever. Yeah. It's like, wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty
besides
intense.
that, she had said, because the lion cats tell the truth, so they play fair, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
So
Injured a man in his own home.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, was it right that you entered this private, citizen's home and basically executed him? And Lion Cat didn't have an answer for that because she knew that. Well, they're right. So there is a bias system going on here. And of course, in the middle of all this, Gwen runs up the tower, and Marco and Alana hear that, and they go to the very edge of the thing, and she comes out, and we have the standoff, of course, between Alana and Gwendolyn.
I didn't understand
just about finishes.
I didn't understand the how did you know?
How did you know that I would fly?
Well, yeah.
Well, you have to remember that throughout the first 3 books or the first 3 volumes, she said these are only prehensile. I can't fly with these.
Right.
He just pushes her off the tower. It's like, yeah, you can totally do that.
Well, all Lantholians can fly.
So why wouldn't she be able to fly?
So her whole life she didn't believe that her wings would work.
Yeah.
And then he was like, see?
He just pushed his wife and his baby off the top of the tower. Like,
yes.
That's not cool.
It saved the date twice.
Well, yeah, but again, that was in the context of Gwendolyn, basically pointing the lance at Alana and Hazel. It's like, well, what are you going to do? Now, was it a gamble? Sure as hell was, but...
Well, I mean, I guess if the other option was they would have died anyway. Still.
But she can fly, apparently, with those wings, and she flies as Gwendolyn. So... But what was I going to say? And then I thought it was interesting the way the chapter ended. It's like, these are their initial pursuers, and we don't see them for a while now. And of course the very last panel. What?
There was other drama that had distracted them from their previous, from their hunt.
Yes. And the basically book 1 ends with Hazel taking her first steps, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't realize that's what that was signifying. Okay.
Yes.
Is that cute?
We have so much more to go.
Yes. So what do you think the book's about?
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've discussed the plot, let's actually discuss.
Well, the more than once he says something along the lines of, peace is not the opposite of war.
Yes.
Right, and so in my mind, it's love.
Mm-hmm. But in Saga, he gets a little more specific.
Yeah.
Well,
the robot interpreted it.
Yeah, I was assuming that the robot was misinterpreting because he doesn't have emotions.
Right.
I don't know about that. I think he does.
Well, I think that was the kind of the idea that was being pushed at that moment. But you were right. He was like.
But Desiree, you were saying about why does he always have pornography on the screen?
Right.
Because the opposite of war is fucking, and that's to bring that back around. That's why I had to wait till this part 3 to actually say that.
Oh, so Jeff put in the chat. He said the opposite of war isn't peace; it's creation.
Mm-hmm. having just again read 1984, very, very true, because they have no creators. It's just perpetuating the society that they have. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can see that, there's clearly a pacifist strain throughout the book, to me anyway. Even apart from Marco.
You're asking me what Saga is actually about. It's the
What do you think it's about?
It's the symbol of her creation. It's her being used as a symbol to bring peace to both sides because she is both. She's both. She's actually she can be a mascot for either side. Well, it's also the reason why both governments want her baby dead.
Well, no, they don't want the baby dead because they've all said they want the baby brought back.
Yeah. True.
Yes.
Okay. They want the parents dead.
But does this child represent the next step of evolution?
Well,
remember, diversity creates survival.
I feel like they wanted to get their hands on the baby because whoever possesses her can kind of control the message, I feel like.
Yes.
She'll have horns and wings, which we in human culture associate with demons, but that's not a story. I couldn't help think that, but yeah, that's probably what.
Heaven, hell,
Magic,
Nephilim.
technology, yeah.
I mean, the horns are the devils, the winged are the angels. I mean, what's the difference here?
Something new. Like you said, the creation, that's what people are afraid of the new. They just prefer to stay in their little, enclosures, and this is the way life is. Well, maybe it doesn't have to be that way. I think it's what Saga is about.
Yes.
And about war, and about collateral damage, and all that other stuff. So yeah, there's a whole lot going on here, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. I feel like I haven't read that many graphic novels or comics, but I think so far I like this one the best.
The collateral damage remark just hit me in the field.
What?
The collateral damage is what I remembered. I was like, no, not that.
Yes.
So thanks.
Yeah. No.
The collateral damage was brought up at that point in time when that happened.
Yes, it was.
If you missed it, then I'm sorry.
Sorry for you.
It's okay. What?
No, what do you mean it's okay?
I explained to you. I mean, it's bad enough we're completely spoiling everything for everybody. Jeff right now. I think he's past that point.
Well, yeah, we were past the point where they're talking specifically about collateral damage.
Shit blew up, and you see
Desiree was distracted by the cat, so
Yeah.
Pictures, not text. They want pictures.
Oh, is that why you missed it? You didn't read that?
No, I was just saying, like cat.
See?
I know.
Well, yeah, they were making the point that, it's collateral damage, it's perfectly acceptable. But then see how these are lives that are being, affected here, and it's a pretty big deal. So.
Yeah, they made a big deal about that.
So I thought, that's really, really well done.
So, do we read this? Are you reading this?
4. I give it a 4. Because it's kind of awesome.
It went from not understanding the hype to now it's kind of awesome.
I'm excited to read more about it. That says a lot about it.
Yes.
When you get like a third of the way through something and you're all like, I don't want to finish this. That means it's not awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to find out more. Because I know I don't have all the information.
Yes. It's something you really have to sit and think about. So, Desiree, what about you?
It might end up at 5 after I read the more things. Who knows?
Well, since we read like volumes 1, 2, and 3, and I have it all in one book, and I'm reading like one book, I mean, I would give it a
I would give each installment I've read so far a 5. So we essentially have the same review. But yeah, it's continually presenting you with new situations and new combinations of characters and new characters. You know, it's like, or sometimes it's just like, what the hell did I just see here? You know.
I think I cared about pretty much everybody for different reasons. Even if I didn't like necessarily personally like them, I still cared about what they were going through and what was happening.
I do remember when this thought was introduced, and I was like, well, this is obviously going to be a character that we're supposed to hate, so awesome. And then boom, and I'm like, well, holy shit! Oh, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Right. Again, Game of Thrones sensibility here. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, all right. Well.
So Jeff said it's also a great mix of sci-fi and fantasy, which I rarely see.
It is.
Oh, that's a good point. I like that. Good call.
Although you could call the whole thing speculative fiction, but you know, what's in a label? I mean,
just the name itself just sounds.
Oh yes, I only read speculative fiction. Thank you very much. Bach. No.
Well, who's speculating what? It could be taken so many different ways.
Well, all right. You know, we could talk about Russia and the United States and how they fight proxy wars all over the world, like in Syria. So we don't have to.
Yeah, let's not pull politics into this. We probably see a lot of different things. Are like,
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's clear that that's where it's meant to be applied to. Yeah.
Right.
You know, and you can if you want to. And there is a political element in Saga, whether you like it or
absolutely.
not. So clearly a pacifist element. I don't know if who's the writer? Brian? Is it?
Brian Vaughan.
I remember his name.
Brian K Vaughan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's a pacifist himself, but there's a clear through line of pacifism through the books we've read. So
people are stupid, and they said it just gets more war.
Yep.
So. Alright, so 554.
I think we feel bad for being the one.
No, it's okay. It's like every time you rate something. You're like, I give it a 3. I'm like, just so you know, I give it a 4.
So your judgment's inferior to mine. So you know. No, I really enjoyed the books, and finally getting to read them was a pleasure. So.
Yeah, I do too. I'm glad I have the second generous book.
I'm glad she has it too.
Yeah, I think they're up to volume 8 now, so that means volume 9 should be coming out fairly soon, and your book 3 will be coming out.
Oh, cool.
Where they'll be on sale, I have no idea, but
won't matter.
Yeah.
Gotta have the set.
Yes. Yeah, now we're committed already. At all costs, yes. Buy the next one. Buy the next one.
We even own multiples of some books because one book didn't look like the other.
You're totally making that up. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. No, she bought the whole set after owning the whole set. How about that?
Are you talking about Harry Potter?
Oh, that!
First of all,
I have this version of this one.
My second set was a gift. It was a Christmas gift that was given to me. My Harry Potter hardcover starred Christmas gift that was given to me. So I didn't go out and buy it. It was a gift.
Okay, I'm not here to prove a point.
Yeah, I like the tone. It's like clearly you don't understand what's going on. So I have to explain it to you now.
Whatever.
Do you not own 3 or 4 copies of certain books? Of certain Harry Potter books?
No, you're exaggerating.
Only seems that way.
Yeah.
Next time on the stream, we'll see all 4 editions.
I might own 2 like soft.
Okay, maybe 2.
I might. No.
Hey,
4 is just crazy talk.
I lent them to someone and they destroyed the spines. So I was like, yo, you're not giving me my Harry Potter books like this back, right? And I was like, you're going to get me new ones. And so they bought me new ones.
Good.
Can't ruin the spines on my books and then just give them back like nothing happened.
Fair point. All right, yes. I agree with you on that.
That's fine.
That's why I'm glad I have a Kindle now. I don't have to worry about that crap anymore.
Okay.
Any good questions from the chat about Saga? Or?
Nope. No questions. I think Jeff is the only one
Um,
lingering. He might actually be listening and trying to finish it at the same time.
Oh, okay. Well done. Yes. But yeah, it is really fun to come back to and really ponder it and reread it and such, so, which is any good book.
So the next book that we're going to be reading...
By one vote.
Oh, really? It only won by one vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, by one vote.
Eliza and Her Monsters almost won. Then I stayed.
Oh, what did win?
What won was Good Omen. Is it Good Omen
Good
or
Omens.
Good Omens? Good Omens by Neil
It's got a
Gaiman.
subtext, right?
And Terry Pratchett.
Subtitle?
And Terry Pratchett.
Okay.
So
By Neil Gaiman.
we started American Gods, but we haven't finished anything by him.
Who? You started American Gods? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I finished that. So, but no, have you read Terry Pratchett before? Any of the Discworld novel? Oh, okay. Maybe we'll have to change that next year, this coming year. Get some Discworld on there.
Right? Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah. So they're light, fun, easy reading novels. So.
Sounds good. Let's save those for another chat.
So more fantasy, Jeff said.
Yes.
We
don't have to, but...
Selecting more fantasy.
What's the shh?
Oh, because I called him out. He was still finishing the comment.
Oh,
finishing it.
More fantasy exclamation point, like as in yay? Not like, more fantasy sarcasm.
Nominate more fantasy.
Oh, okay.
Jeff likes fantasy.
Yeah.
It's pretty. He kind of almost primarily reads fantasy when he does feel like reading.
Yeah, but not a lot of people read graphic novels, so I was happy to get this one, and for myself as well. Because I don't,
Yeah, I wasn't really into it until just recently. So I bought a few of them. There's a few that I have to finish. I have like Lucifer, and I just Last Man Standing. No, The Last Man. I don't remember what the name of that comic was. I have a few that I have to get through. I also have Lock and Key Volume 2. So.
Yes, I have to read my first one yet.
But all right, so I think
this wraps up our mega Saga session.
Yeah. So just as a reminder, for anyone interested in joining us in the discussion on video, you can do that by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Libri Labra. There's also a few other perks, like you get to nominate books for our entire Goodreads group. We have about 94 people in there, and they vote on whatever the book club keys select. And you also get a custom Libri Labra bookmark and a handwritten card. And I'm going to start doing like monthly patron-only giveaways, I think. That's going to be interesting.
Good. So
you have a 1 out of 3 chance of winning every month for right now.
Those aren't too bad odds.
Those are pretty good odds. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. And like I said, we're going to be reading Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. So that's what we're going to be doing for the month of November. So hope you've enjoyed this discussion. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, Internets.
You can also check us out on Goodreads. We have chats over there sometimes.